Now, what do you say we bring out our guest? Ladies and gentlemen, from the County of Rock in the town of Luverne, I would like to welcome Vance Walgrave.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. You know, I'm curious, did you have a company, or but the company's called Those Blasted Things? I'm just curious, how'd that all come about, the name and the company and all that?
Well, it started out about 25 years ago. My wife Becky and I started a memorial company, Cemetery Memorials, Luverne Monuments. And we bought the equipment to sandblast, do memorials, and when we saw what it could do, the creative side kind of took over. And we started blasting a lot of yard rocks, small rocks, big rocks, and everything else like that. And when we opened in our location here, this one here 10 years ago, we thought, okay, if we call it Luverne Monuments, no one's going to come into our rock shop.
That's a good point.
And if we call it Those Blasted Things, who's going to buy a monument called Those Blasted Things?
True.
So we are two names in the same location.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense.
So totally, how many years have you been in business? The memorial?
For 25 years.
25, and the blasted things
For 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Interesting.
Now, I'm still curious. How did you happen to get into this business?
Into the rock side?
Yes.
I was one of these little boys that always came home with pockets full of rocks. And now I have bigger rocks. And my wife and I, in the wintertime, close our store for a month. And we travel all over the Southwest. And we collect rocks, truckloads of rocks.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And we haul them back to our store, so everything is personally picked out. And yet, when I walk down to the Rock River on a sandbar or something like that, I still come home with pockets full of rocks. And most of them are leverites.
Really?
My dad always said, leave it right where you found it.
Leverites, I like that.
That's really interesting. Now, you know, I've heard that you have some really unusual items in your store. Outside of the rocks that you were talking about, fossils and even meteorites?
Yep.
Really?
And now, how do you make that decision of what to put in your store?
It is a case of my wife and I only buy stuff we think is really cool.
You know, Sally Sue just mentioned that there are unusual things in your store. What are some of the most unusual you have in your store?
For one, a woolly mammoth tooth.
You're kidding me. That's a tooth? Wait a minute.
I thought it was a crown. Well, tooth, crown.
This
Could
way?
be.
This is the chew side.
Look, it's so rough.
Wow.
And we also have woolly mammoth tusks.
Is that what this came out of as well, was a woolly mammoth?
That was a woolly mammoth.
Really?
Yeah.
And you have the tusks too?
Yep. And I have part of one right here, right there.
Oh,
and you can
goodness.
see from the wear on here, from the animals rubbing against trees.
Now,
Wow.
has this been polished, or is that just the way it rubbed?
It's that the wear down has been from the woolly mammoth.
That's what
Yeah, it has been polished up a little bit, cleaned up.
Wow.
But not much. It's
Not
pretty
much.
much.
Another item that is kind of that we have among many things is this is a pretty piece of jewelry.
Jewelry.
Of
like
course,
jewelry.
of course.
Oh, look. Oh. Well,
And
now, what kind of rock is that?
that is coprolite,
Oh,
It's
that's
what again?
very pretty.
coprolite,
Coprolite.
also known as dinosaur poop. Petrified dinosaur poop.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious as well. Do you actually go and find these when you take your trip to the Southwest, or are these found and then you acquire them? How does that work?
Most of the stuff we get is at the big rock shows down.
You know, that's interesting. You're in Rock County, Minnesota, and you buy rocks. And by the semi-load, no less.
Yes, we do.
Amazing.
What kind of rocks do you have?
Well, besides buying a lot of the Sioux quartzite rocks that are indigenous to Rock County, we haul in rocks from the Colorado River, from Arizona. If we see something, some really unique flagstone, it's not unusual to buy a whole semi-load. And we sell landscaping
Oh,
rocks
sure.
then also.
Okay.
Well, now, rumor has it that you also make jewelry with the beads and other materials.
Right.
And that Becky and Katie will actually create pieces for special occasions like proms or weddings.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Right there on the spot.
Really?
And Katie is our daughter, and she works at our store also. We're a mom and pop business, and they have this huge arrangement of unusual beads and gemstones and things like that.
Nice.
And they will sometimes they'll sit right down there and lay them out for the people. You like it this way, that way.
Oh, how fun.
And put them together.
That makes it very,
earrings
very special.
Very unique and very personal.
Yes,
that's wonderful.
Nice. That's nice.
You know, I'm curious. Luverne Monuments, Cemetery, and War Memorials is part of your business also, okay?
Correct.
So how large of a territory does that cover? And tell us a little bit more about that side of the business.
The memorial side.
Right.
We travel, most of our business is done within 100 miles
Okay.
on the memorials, cemetery memorials, but we go out a lot further on request. I've hauled them clear to Illinois because people have
Really?
seen the Sioux Quartzsite memorials that we make, which they can't get anyplace else in the world. And that'll grab people's attention. The war memorials, we've done 2 of them in the last year and a half, one up in Holland, Minnesota, and one in Hardwick, Minnesota. So we get around.
You know, I've noticed in that memorials are getting more and more personal. What types of things are people asking for on their memorials?
It used to be, if you go in the older parts of the cemeteries, you'll see a lot of religious epitaphs and things like this. Maybe a lamb on there as a graphic.
Sure.
Now you'll see more, a lot of people with their portraits on there.
Oh, I saw that at a cemetery,
yeah.
local
I had not seen that. That's interesting.
I thought that was interesting.
And if a person loves to fish, you might see somebody catching a fish on one of these memorials.
Nice.
And it
I think that is
it
nice.
kind of tells a story.
Heaven forbid that I should reach an early demise, but I would prefer. Well, that could happen. It could happen, but I would prefer that it not get too personal on my memorial. And I don't know if they'd have a broad enough backscape to put everything that I'd like on there. So moving right along.
Scary. Okay.
All right, changing subjects altogether here. Rumor has it that you donated space for an information center. Tell us about that.
Right. When we purchased this property, it was an old gas station.
Oh, okay.
And we cleaned it up as much as possible, but you know what a gas station always looks like, a gas station.
True.
So we completely refaced the front of the building. We put a boardwalk out there and a porch and everything, and it's all out of recycled highline poles. Cedar site.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we designated an area there for the Chamber of Commerce and the city and us kind of went together, and this one area there is going to be an information center. So people coming off the interstate, we're half a block off the interstate, can come to this thing, and it'll be, the information part of it will be open 24/7, and people can find whatever in town they want without having to drive around town.
Yeah. I wanted to also look at that.
That is beautiful. You
Isn't
can
that
see through
pretty?
that, yes.
It's a meteorite splash.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks like a leaf when you hold it up to the light.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Some of
It's
these
very
meteorites hit the ground with a force of a nuclear bomb, and they threw immense amounts of sand and debris up into the atmosphere, where it solidified and came raining down again.
And that's what that would be?
That's what that is.
Vance, question for you. In addition to the items that you brought here today and that we've seen, do you sell, I understand that you have other gifts in your store. Do you have anything of a clothing possibly that goes along with some of the other things that you sell?
You mean for you?
Well, that would be nice. Sure. I had to drop the hint,
Of
haven't I?
course,
Well,
for you. You have a dressing room, you have a limo, you have an expensive...
Sally
Yeah,
Sue,
all
it's
about
just,
you.
it's all, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, we did bring some T-shirts for you
All
guys.
right. Thank you.
For
Thank
the
you.
studio audience out there. And
Wow. Everybody gets one. Wow. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Oh,
and this is-
Hooters of Minnesota. That really, I think
it's
that.
got owls
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Yes.
Oh.
I love that.
And do you have other souvenirs too in your store?
Yes, we've got.
Oh.
You want yours right now?
I sure do.
Okay.
I don't want Sally Sue to get. Sally Sue gets her hands on it. I'll never get it back. Wow, is that cool? Oh, it is. It is. Thank you.
We have a lot of souvenirs in there that, including shot glasses, Minnesota glass.
Not that I usually just drink sarsaparilla out of a shot glass, but that's good to know.
Beer
Yes, she
mugs. A lot of souvenirs that we have actually made ourselves.
That's what I
with
wondered.
Minnesota rocks.
Okay. That's
Really
very
nice.
good.
These are really nice.
They are very nice
I'm not giving
shirts.
it back.
Okay, fine. Be that
So, well, Vance, it's been so good to have you
Yes.
with us today. Is there anything else that you would like to share? How can people get a hold of you in Luverne?
way. Yes.
All you have to do is pull off the interstate, and there's a great big huge buffalo. And,
okay.
Okay.
And we're right there.
Okay.
Just
So right off that first exit.
the only exit.
The
Into
only
Luverne.
exit. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Can't miss us.
Wonderful.
Outstanding.
Well,
Great.
it's been great, and we hope that all of our viewers will stop in and see you and Becky and Katie, and we must make a trip over there.
I think it's a great idea. I love this. I think
do
it's
too.
it's great. I was a little concerned these woolly mammoths were walking around Sweet Swine County. I'm a little bit happy to know
They're outside.
they're outside Sweet Swine County. Yes.
Yes.
They were here, though.
I believe that, but they migrated south, and we're very appreciative of that.
That was great.
It was.
Was very interesting. Well, Vance, we'd love to thank you for being with us today as our guest, and we hope that many of our viewers will go visit Luverne Monuments and those blasted things. We would also like to thank our viewers for
Yes.
watching our show, the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we read out the big stories throughout Sweet Swine County. Bye-bye.
Bye now.